Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Knights of the Alternate Histories. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the fringe parties of the different political spectrums. Now, fringe parties are kind of one-off parties that don't get a lot of votes. They might be a bit popular in the state level, but they barely get any national votes. And another thing, as you can tell by the release date of this video, we're moving from Monday releases to Tuesday releases to not have burnout. The Fringe Right. The Fringe Right would be kind of the white supremacist movement and the more fascist movement. Not like fascist as in the Republican Party, as some people like to think. No, actual literal fascist. And basically, these would come up from World War II and the Civil War era, and would kind of be a distant relic of the past that would try and stick on, but wouldn't get that many votes. The Confederate Party would be a breakoff of the Southern Democrats or the Dixiecrats, who would want it back to the Civil War, would want segregation, and you could tell this was them, being that their ad campaigns would be quite racist and would just try and get to the hardcore white supremacist movements, though they wouldn't get any votes even in the state level. The Silver Legion would kind of be the rivals to the Confederate Party, and their argument would be more inclusive, if you will. Not just pure American Aryans, but kind of everyone. And the Silver Shirts would come from the World War II, obviously, and they would say, hey, we're less extreme than them, and we're still going to give you rights, just please leave and get out. Now, it's important to realize that these parties wouldn't get really any votes except for in the deep South, and they would just basically be parties to try and contain the state level, and they wouldn't get a lot of national votes, maybe one or two in different national elections depending on dissent, but overall they would be pretty calm and wouldn't get that much support. The next party on the Fringe Right would be the Washington Party, and this party would basically believe in trying to get it like the Founding Fathers America, and support overall the ideas of the Constitution interpreted then, rather than to it. So they would be the modern day Federalists, and would just try and overall contain the spread of these radical ideals, and just peel it back to old days America. Now, the Fringe Centrists would be kind of the smaller centrist parties that would have pretty similar goals, but overall wouldn't get a lot of support, as all fringe parties would, but they would be kind of more popular, the most populous of the fringe parties, and they could actually get a sizable minority, at least on the state level, especially in the northern regions, and they would be able to hold this able. The Whig Party definitely wouldn't get that many votes after it falling out of favor in history, but it could still get us state votes. As the Big Ten Party, it would be able to just kind of contain everything, and would say, yeah, we support this, and this. Basically, it would be a party for right-wingers and left-wingers who don't want to outstate their open objective, but just want to say, hey, I'm Whig, I'm kind of right, I'm kind of left. The next party would be the Internationalists, and their goal would try to loosen up borders for both Canada and Mexico to try and get a better international community. They would be in favor of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or even a Trans-Pacific Union, and would try and get as many free deals to make one world order kind of thing. Make everyone united. They would lean a little bit left, but would overall be pretty straight. The Kleptocracy, or the Prisoners' Party, would be a party for ex-convicts. And because America has such a high crime rate, but not enough to give them national seats, they would probably get 1 or 2 seats, but overall wouldn't get that much in the next year election. But states where there's high imprisonment rates, like California, they would definitely be a part of those state legislators to try and reform the criminal system and make it easier for them. Now, the Independent Party, I know that's an oxymoron, would basically be kind of the rivals to the Whigs, saying, hey, we're the true independents, and this wouldn't be a party per se, but more of a, oh, you don't have a party you agree with? Oh, come join our party. And that would be it. So another big tent party, but more of kind of generalized, just to get funding for independent candidate. The Indian Affairs Party, well, I guess it's a hint in the name, would support American Indians. And American Indians would be the large majority of this, so they would get a few votes, but also woke people would try, and also vote them in because to show how woke they are. But overall, they wouldn't get that many votes. But say in North Dakota and Arizona with high American Indian populations, they would definitely get a voice. The next party would be the Party of Congress, and the Party of Congress would be another centrist party. Oh, who knows? It's almost like I put it in the centrist. And they would be slightly more leaning left, but would overall just mission statement be, we are trying to run the country as best as we can, so vote for us. This would kind of be like the Indian Congress Party, and would just try and run the country the best and say, we're the original Congress, so vote for us. Now, the Fringe Left would be another party, which the left already divided is. See the first video if you don't know what I'm talking about. In this world, wouldn't have enough votes to get these fringe parties, and even in state elections, there would only be one or two of them, and this would be the hardcore belief system saying, yes, we only believe in this, we don't care about anyone else. Now, let's talk about the parties. Wow, the first party would be the Feminist Party, and this would come from the all men are evil groups, and would just kind of be pure feminism, not like the standard feminism where it's women power go, but would try and establish a matriarchy over the patriarchy to try and take them out, and overall just kind of control it and make it more matriarchy, so higher women's wages and stuff like that. Now, the next party would be the Trotskyist Party, and this would once arrive from the Cold War, and you can see Leon Trotsky trying to support this, and Mexican supporters of his after his assassination would come back up to the United States and form this party, and the Trotskyists would believe in Trotskyism, which would be less form, but they wouldn't get that many votes, as we'll see in the next two slides, because, of course, vote splitting. There would be three communist parties, one we're going to talk about in the next slide, but the Trotskyists and the communists would compete. Communist party would be kind of a Stalin Marxist party, who would overall try and impose a Marxistic-like government, while they would fight with Trotskyists, and a lot of Americans not knowing the difference wouldn't really vote for them, except for the hardcore communist fans who would say, yeah, this. But overall, they wouldn't get that many votes. And last, the Leninist Party. The Leninist Party would follow Marxist-Leninist beliefs, but overall would try and do the Lenin, and they would support more funding for revolutions, which is where a lot of their party would go, and protest rather than actually trying to gain seats. But still, they would take votes from the Trotskyists and Communists, causing all three of them to tie out. Now, I see in this world a lot of people trying to mix, but the Trotskyists and the Leninists would stop that immediately. Lastly, the Anarchist Party wouldn't get that many votes. They might win a 1 or 2 seats when people just give up on the government and throw away their vote, but they would, of course, as the name implies, try and form anarchy to try and take over it and just kind of collapse the U.S. system. Once again, they would pay for protest, but overall wouldn't get that many votes, but they would try and implement an anarchist left movement.